No, 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 no heroes. No, 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 no heroes. No heroes, baby.
All right, we are back for round 7. Sorry for the quick delays. But we're gonna jump right back into the game. It's already going on. It is Saka against Black Yellow Ruffy. They are already on turn 5, or like the 5th on turn. Just a quick back and forth on exchanging cards, digging a bit deeper with Tashigi in brand new, and Perona just forcing him to discard one card. So we just gonna play out the Kuzan to draw a card. Probably just gonna use leader ability to cycle a card and dig deeper into the deck, and probably just pass turn because, well, there's no reason to attack. Just letting them I was about to say self awaken. Letting them get to 0 on their own is what I wanted to say. This is not Dragonball. And yeah.
Yeah, it's understandable in the early sort of stages of this game. Obviously, Sakazuki needs a couple of turns or so to set up and start being able to loop its combinations. Obviously, now since OP06's introduction, you have the likes of Gecko Moria that have added to the top end of Sakazuki decks, being able to continue to buy back essentially some of the important resources that might get cycled away from leader effect or otherwise KO'd or anything like that. So these early turns just going to be a little bit of setup for both of our players, and then towards the mid to late stages of the game is when we'll start to see both these decks really explode.
But correct me if I'm wrong, I did not see him use his leader ability. Did he?
No, might have been earlier on in the turn as we were just getting ourselves sort of set up into the game potentially, but certainly not while we were here as we're playing down a 5-cost Sabo from hand there for the black yellow Luffy player
to get rid of the Kuzan. That's one way. So while we are waiting for the black yellow player to get down to 0 life, I would assume the Sakazuki player is gonna find his boss monsters. Not boss monsters in that kind of sense. I don't think 7-cost Boslino is like heavily favored in the deck right now. But just playing out high stated buddies to prepare for the big turn. And yeah, let's see. I think they are on 7 Dawn, if I'm seeing it correctly. I should be on 7 Dawn. Yeah, they're on 7 Dawn.
7. Yep, there's the count. Almost like you're speaking telepathically to the Sakazuki player there. Immediately as you were questioning it was just, okay, how many am I actually on? As here is a 5k swing. Going back to that point you were making actually about the blue Borsalino, you're totally right. It has fallen out of favor a lot. As we say that, there is.
I was about to say, if I mentioned, there's no reason for him to swing unless he is specifically looking to remove that Sabo. And ladies and gentlemen, what do we see? Removing that Sabo. So,
and the bottom decking as well of it is really, really vital and really, really important, because it means that you're not actually able to return them back with the leader ability as effectively. Obviously, you want those the bigger Sabos, Luffys, and Aces in the trash, so that when you do eventually get down to 0 life, you can attach 2 on, use leader ability, and stack them back on, bring them in with the baby Ace, baby Sabos, cards like that, and boost up your leader in turn as well. So really, really nice little inclusion to target these matchups.
So we're gonna see, I think it's T-Bone.
That is T-Bone. Is as a 2k counter there.
So we're swinging with leader and then with Perona.
Chrono attack was taken. Just a 5k swing.
And I would
where
assume
it's gonna go.
it's gonna be up. And it's gonna be a Zabo. Oh, and an ace.
Nice. Which will
Swinging
have 2 dots there.
for 9. Alright, I see you.
Mhm.
And the event.
Brothers Bond, be able to search for a Ace, Luffy, or Sabo card, depending on what the situation is in the Luffy player's hand. It might be one of the babies. It might be one of the bigger ones. I imagine maybe with what we've seen so far that we might be getting one of the smaller cost brothers, one of the 2 costs, as opposed to the 5s.
Yeah.
But I have been proven wrong plenty of times so far in my casting career, so I am surely prepared to be proven wrong again once more.
I mean,
But I won't be.
Alright. Small Sabo it is. I mean, I would find it funny if I'm just saying it, so it's gonna happen. We're gonna have the second 7-cost Porcelino swing with the leader into the Perona. Maybe lets it go immediately. Maybe he's a bit reluctant. Then swing with the. You know what? Let's just let the magic happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, swinging into Perona and minusing. What? You saw it too, right? I'm not tripping. Like there
Oh,
was some-
yeah, I saw that.
Okay. Okay. I was like, well, okay. I'm like, okay, maybe I am dreaming too much. So swinging into the Verona, minusing the ace. So best case scenario is gonna be actually the best case scenario would be a 10 don if you play Borsalino to get like a Mepo and Rebecca into Hina, and then just the 2-cost event that bottom decks 2 cards with 1 and 2, and you'll be like, yep, there we go. But I guess we're still considering whether we want to counter out of this attack or just let it go.
It looks like it. I think we've got what? We've got 9 Don available now. I think for Sakazuki. So there could be a potential, yeah, if we've got the cards in hand to Ice Age. If this attack doesn't go through, Ice Age, the Verona. Looks like we might be. Okay, it's going to be Eruption. That will work as well. Gets you the card advantage as well. But I have a feeling that we're going to pay 8 here, maybe. For a Gecko? No. We're gonna
Hound
Blades.
That's a. And
That's
swing
probably a
with
better way of doing
6
it.
into Perona, alright.
Yeah. But as I said, I've been proven wrong many times before. This was one of the times where I was. That's a much better way of doing it.
Is that a Kuzan? That is
Sabo.
Sabo. Alright. So protecting the board.
14 trash a Lucci and a Moria.
Trashing more is an interesting decision. But maybe trying to keep as much counter cards in your hand. And maybe they have a second one also.
Essentially, that's generally what that tends to signal. If you're happy discarding away one of your, like you said a couple of times, one of your big boss monsters, one of your big characters that tends to swing the state of games. If one of those goes to the discard pile willingly, then you've got to hope that there is a second one in there. We'll see on the next turn if that indeed was the case. But for now, it's going to reside calmly in the discard pile, and this Luffy deck and this Luffy player's in a little bit of danger with still on 2 life and no more characters on board at the moment going into the full 10 Don turn.
Considering that you say he's in danger while he has 2 life, that is not flipped up. It's crazy. But yeah, no, I agree. But I have a feeling that there's gonna be a Gecko Moria coming from Sakazuki because he dispatched the Helmeppo with his leader ability. And if he wanted to keep counter in hand, he would have not discarded Helmeppo instead of something else. So we're just gonna see Sabo being played down to dig deeper, set up the trash, but having KO protection is not protecting you from being bottom decked. So
Exactly.
if there's another Hound place coming, or the Sword of
Murakami sword, yeah. Could
and
be
it's
another
gonna
option if there's another Borsellino in the deck as well. Maybe we've already seen one of them come down.
That's true. Actually, Barcelona would just be enough. Like just leader swing and swinging 10. Yeah, swing 10 at lead. I would assume that just if you just block that with the Sabo that you just played.
There's an argument to block this with Sabo. Obviously, you're on the one life. You don't really want to take that in this situation. I think there's 6 cards in hand. Yeah, I think blocking's probably the safest bet. I think in this situation. See if the Sakazuki player agrees as well. No, we're gonna take life. No trigger, and is allowed to untap and move on to their turn as well. That Sabo still around, so maybe we might be seeing that attacking maybe this turn.
But I don't think that they're trying to go for game this turn. They need to prepare for. I mean, okay. Let's think. I was suggesting that there's gonna be a Moria coming down for 8. And with a Helmeppo and a Lucci. Oh, okay. So that was the Moria that we were talking about earlier. But deciding that Moria is not enough and
there's a third one.
No,
it looks like there's a third one.
Oh my goodness. But why would you even
Wow.
But why? Like, for me, it does not.
Yeah, it's interesting to decide to use that to discard as opposed to going double Moria, like Moria into Moria next turn. That's certainly interesting, but instead deciding no, we're happy with sending them away. Now we're going to Rebecca, grab back the T-Bone, and then for 2, Murakami sword.
So that's that. And with 2 blockers, you are good to go. I mean, and there's no Amaro that can help you either. I mean, best case scenario, you have 2 rejects in hand, but that's also not the best case scenario. That's actually one of the worst case scenarios.
Yeah, spending 8 Don just to take care of 2 things doesn't feel great in this situation. Leaves you with 2 left to maybe try and poke 7 into life or into something.
We gotta see what.
Where do we go from here if we're the black-yellow Luffy player? You see, they're just trying to have a look at the discard pile, see what resources are in there to potentially bring back. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of attacks that are going to come their way.
They need to find the Zabos, but if they don't have a Sabo in hand, like, I mean, they can play out 1 Sabo, but even that is quite scary, to be honest. Attaching 2 Don and switching for 7 looks like that's the answer we're gonna take.
Yeah, at least the start of the answer, as this should be either an easy counter or block, probably with the Rebecca. Still deciding, and looks like there's a real decision to make with it as well, because it wasn't the easiest and the quickest. Here, I'm gonna immediately counter out of this attack or block.
But considering that there's only 8 Don left, I would just block with Sabo use a 2K if I have one, and we saw that he has T-Bone.
Mm.
So, oh, but
Counter
choosing
free.
to counter from hand, not even giving him the vested Sabo. That point,
Yeah,
to
which
not
I think it
enable it.
just protects you in case there was an ace in hand as well. But there was only one real line of play, I think, from that situation. Gecko Moria will hit the board. We're going to use Perona. And I think that is that a Luffy or is that an ace? As the baby, it's
That's
a Luffy.
Yes. So forcing him to discard a card. And that's
Yeah,
another
really.
bunny being discarded. And there we go. So this is bringing the alarm bells for me that, okay, Sakazuki needs to go for game.
Yes, yeah.
Because then it's just, I mean, how many 5 cards in hand on Buffy's side, right? On Luffy's side.
Yeah, definitely in that range, yeah. I mean, we could go.
So the best case scenario is you find a way to clear. Best case scenario is you find a way to clear Moria and Perona and swing into Moria and Kid Ace, Kid Ruffy.
Yep.
And we're swinging 5 at. Is it gonna be 5 at leader?
If we're going for game, then I think it has to be. As we're going to reduce one of the costs from the Moria. So that's a 7 now.
I don't think it's gonna be a leader then. I think it's gonna be a Perona trying to control the board. Because
You had the counter no matter what, so the attack won't go through and attention turns back over to the Sakazuki player.
but there's a line to be alright. Swinging 5 with Hemepo. I can see a place where you just try to control the board, play Moria, replace the Hemepo with Moria, play out Lucci and Hemepo again, and just KO the entire board and keep up your 2 blockers. But I see counter.
Yeah.
Alright. So we're just gonna swing with Borsellino into him, with Perona into Perona, to make sure that body on the board is definitely gone.
Yeah, it definitely seems like that's the way that we're going about this turn. Because Borsellino is going to attack 8k, so would need 4k's worth of counter here if it is into the Perona to keep it alive. Would also need the same to stop the life from being taken at both 5k. It was into
What?
leader. We're going to take it as well. Now here comes Gecko Moria's swing with 9.
So he's gonna go for the finish.
Wow, triple counter to stop that last life being taken as well. Just double checking and double showing that the counter is enough there. 2 2Ks and the 1K of Blocker Sabo. Puts it up to 10 and out of range.
That's now quite tough. Because you need to get rid of Moria and you need to get rid of Perona.
Yeah, now this is where you're maybe sort of slightly regretting going into the leader. I mean, we saw there with the amount of counters that were just used to fend away that Gecko Moria attack that, you know, one of those attacks was going to be countered away, but the second one maybe not so much.
I mean, if you
I'd
wanted
say.
to go for Leafer, then the optimal play would be you go hit him for. He had 5 cards in hand. Actually, is there a way to split evenly with 8 down remaining? 10, 10, 13, 11, 12. You could have done 11, 12 if you would want to go for game. But because 11, 12 needs to be answered by what? 4 2Ks? No, 3 2.
Yeah, 12 and 13 respectively. So would need a lot. Is just we're about to pay 2 and get rid of the hell Mappo, but first we want to have a look and see what's in the discard pile.
All right.
Looks like we are going to continue with the original plan, paying 2 Don, trash the hell Mappo into another hell Mappo, reduce the cost of the Moria, 3 into Hina, reduce it even further, and
Where's that? But hold up. It is.
Murakamo. Bottom deck, the 2 and the 1.
There we go.
Passed over. So now we're asking the exact same question. It feels like that we were the turn before for Black Yellow Luffy is, well, where do we go forward from here now? Obviously it does have the one difference is that the Perona is on board still to try and attack into something with, because I imagine you've got to try and go for board here with the 2 blockers that Sakazuki player has.
Now asking the Sakazuki player for how many 2Ks he has. But I think there's one out. That's the one problem. If the Luffy player top decked a Marvel, that is a good thing, because now you have 2 swings onto 1 blocker, and you just need to find the magic number to be hitting. But the Sakazuki player has 2 cards in hand or 3?
It
I'm not
looks
sure.
like 2. Yeah, 2.
So the magic number gotta be 9, right? So if you can split your Dawn, if you have a Marvel, I mean, if you don't have a Marvel, then you need reject. It's either a Marvel or reject. If it's gonna be a Marvel, it's the easier way, because then you can just swing once with 10 and then the rest onto the leader. If it's reject, then you pay 4 to remove one of the blockers. Then you have 6 down left. You have no, that wouldn't be enough. So it gotta be a Marvel specifically. If you are suspecting that he has 2 2K counters.
It's always trying to play around and make sacrifices for those possibilities as well. You've got to kind of play with the assumption that there's enough 2Ks in hand. So we're just going to start off with a 5K swing in with the Perona.
So that's 1 2K with the 2. There's also the option of a Rush Ace coming down. That also would be a good angle.
Potentially.
Swinging
5
5.
again. Trying to force that final card of counter out from hand. It's going to be the Rebecca that will jump in the way to block, though. Now paying 5. There is that ace. 7. Blocked. Is there
It's
a
another
second one?
ace.
There's a second one in hand.
And it's non-counter.
And that's going to do it.
It's tough. It is tough.
Wow.
However, if the last card would have been 1K, he would have been fine. and what if that would have been enough to make it out? But it's a win for Black Yellow Luffy. It's just 2 rush cards. I mean, there's nothing you can do in that situation. But I think it was well played by Saka. And yeah, I mean, this just shows that Ruffy is a pretty strong deck. And I'm expecting. I mean, we are in round 7, round 8 is about to come up in the next 5 minutes or so. What do you think is going to be in the top 8? Because if I could bet on it, I'm betting it's going to be all black with a sprinkle of red,
Yeah, there's going to be a handful of Sakazukis, a handful of Gecko Morias as well, I imagine. Obviously, we've just seen that there's going to be a Black Yellow Luffy in there as well. There's likely to be a Black Yellow Luffy. Yeah, there'll always be that one surprise, and I'm excited to see what that's going to be. But I think like you rightly said there, I think that there's going to be a lot of leaders like Moria, like Sakazuki. It's just continuing to show that it's such a strong color. It's such a strong color with such strong cards, and it's among the top tables for a reason.
That is true.